In this 25th anniversary year of September 11th, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation continues to honor America's heroes. Heroes like Fire Lieutenant Michael Wells, who was inspired by 9/11 to serve his community. After 14 dedicated years of service, he lost his battle with occupational cancer, leaving behind his wife, Katie, and their 3 children. Tunnel to Towers honored Lieutenant Wells by paying off the family's mortgage in recognition of his sacrifices. Donate $11 monthly and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org.
Katz and Cosby, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Let's go to Ari Fleischer, the great former White House press secretary. Ari, what are your thoughts, first off, about what we are talking about? Let's first start with this Adam Hamaway, this Dr. Adam Hamaway. He's a plastic surgeon. He's a veteran, just like Graham Plattner. I'm sorry, I love my veterans, but I got issues with those two. But your thoughts, Ari, that this guy is now, looks like, on his way to becoming the next member of Congress. It's a very blue seat. There were a lot of choices, as the guys were just talking about, and New Jerseyans picked this guy.
Yeah, you know, as somebody who stood at the White House podium on September 11th, 2001, I am absolutely stunned that the voters, even in a liberal district in New Jersey, could have an Al-Qaeda volunteer. The man moved to Bosnia to work for an offshoot of Al-Qaeda, knowing it was Al-Qaeda. I mean, this is stunning to me that somebody like that could get elected to Congress. And he will get elected to Congress now because it's such an overwhelmingly blue seat. And I think, frankly, Congress should give very serious consideration to not seating him.
Ari, good for you, because that's exactly what they should
automatically
be doing.
Seat people.
So explain, Ari, and I'm looking at the judge too, how can they do that? What can they do?
They have the right to talk about the bona fides of the members of the body. They can expel them.
Once he is elected.
Yeah, they don't even expel him because they never.
They can expel him if he's seated. And Ari's exactly right. They don't have to seat him.
And there's real precedent for this in American history.
Yeah, explain that, Kevin Roberts. We have also, by the way, the president of the Heritage Foundation. Go ahead, Kevin.
Hey, Ari, thanks for everything you're doing. I was just going to underscore your point, and the judges, that this isn't some novel concept. This is something that's been used in every era of American history because Congress wants to maintain the integrity of its members, allotting the reality that, you know, there may be different political ideologies. That's not the issue.
And until we start pushing back, this is going to continue.
In this instance, we don't have to accept that we can get undermined from within, infiltrated within. We are a democracy, but we should not let Al-Qaeda supporters take advantage of the fact we're a democracy and put their volunteers into Congress. We don't have to accept that.
So Ari, explain, and I'm looking at Dr. Roberts and everybody else here. He would get elected, right? If he gets elected, I mean, look at this point, and then he could not actually be seated. They just wouldn't swear him in. They would say, we're not going to take this. My fear is, and I hate to say this, I brought up Graham Plattner before. Today, you would have thought whatever his problem was that he hit a mosquito. That's almost like the way that, Bernie Sanders is acting. Bernie Sanders was like, the billionaires are upset because he's a threat to them and he's going to, go anti-Trump, and we love him, and we're going to win Maine.
Anybody's fine as long as they're against Trump.
Right. I mean, how bottom of the barrel do you have to hit?
Yeah, I thought we hit the bottom of the barrel in Virginia when they elected an attorney general who, right before the election, it was found out he sent emails saying he wanted to kill the children of the Speaker of the Virginia Assembly, and yet he still got elected. I think we are in an era now where the Democrats look at their candidates and say, Donald Trump broke all the norms. So if Trump broke all the norms, we now need to break all the norms, and we need people who will fight. And so they go to a guy like Graham Plattner, who is a veteran. They like his military background because they think it'll help appeal to centrists or moderates. And as long as you take on Trump, it doesn't matter how ugly you are, how vicious you are. It doesn't matter the fact, and this is what's really starting to trouble me, but all the additional things about Plattner, the fact that he said he's a communist, the fact that he has said things that are anti-black, anti-gay, anti-female, blamed rape on the female victims. Plattner, when he was on this app called Kick, and I had never heard of Kick, so I looked it up, it targets teenagers. He's in a towel, wearing just a towel on an app targeted to teenagers.
And Ari, I think you know this.
Making a big deal about the Epstein files.
You know,
this on an app targeting teens.
This app, Kick, that you're talking about, he's still on the app. That's the issue. He's been on it for more than 3,000 days, and he's wearing a towel. I'm seeing more of him than I ever wanted to ever see of Graham Plattner. And like you said, that group, it's women age 13 to 24. That's their app. What is a 41-year-old married man doing in a towel still on an app like that, Ari?
Yeah. I mean, there's just something weird about the guy, and he is really into violence. He has talked about how we need a revolution, and he said there's never been a successful revolution to come with an AK-47. He's an odd duck, and I think the only reason he's running for Congress is the only place he could get a job. He couldn't be hired as a school teacher. The PTA and the school board would say, no, you're not qualified. He couldn't be a cop. He wouldn't be able to carry a gun anymore. There is hardly a job in America he would get because he's such an oddball, except Congress.
You know, Ari, he needs a therapist, not a senatorial campaign. That's what he needs. He needs a sex therapist.
Also, because Susan Collins is a supporter of Israel, he's attacked her as being in the command of the Jewish community in Netanyahu, and that she's bought and paid for by Netanyahu. What do you think about that?
Right. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, as if Maine has a huge Jewish community. It's just part of how the Democrats have gone off the deep end on so many different issues. And, you said that he needed a sex therapist. A sex therapist ran for Congress in Texas 35, and she got almost 40% of the vote, despite it coming out that she's virulently anti-Semitic, who says she wanted to put Zionists in detainment centers. The Democrats have a real problem. They have a crazy problem. They have a go off the deep end problem. And it's not just in Maine. It's not only in New Jersey. They elected a socialist in the Democratic primary in Philadelphia 2 weeks ago. The Democrat Party has not cleaned up its own act. Republicans have been going into its own party and cleaning up their act. Some of the wackiest candidates of all have either had to retire or resign or got defeated in primaries like Thomas Massey.
Or George
Democrats
Santos
are going through it now where they're electing the crazies and they haven't cleaned up their act.
Rudy.
Yeah, Republicans took a position on George Santos, one of our own, when the vote was very important to the president. We took a moral stand, and
that was led by people like Nick LaLota, a congressman from Long Island. He's the one who started that. He's the first one to call for Santos to be thrown out of the Congress.
So I like that idea, if Ari made it or the judge, about not seating people who undermine our Constitution. I mean, you just talked about two people that undermines our Constitution. Why do we have to?
The great Supreme Court Justice Robert Jackson famously said that the United States Constitution is not a suicide pact. And to your point, and to your point, Rudy, that's exactly, and to Ari's point, and to Dr. Roberts' point, that's exactly what we're facing. We have infiltration from within our country dedicated to destruction of this great republic in its 250th year. And it's about time we fought back and stopped this.
And your point's a good one, Judge, because this is not just a Democrat Party problem, and it is, but it's become an America problem, because if you're inheriting somebody like that as a member of Congress, and let's just say you got Mamdani here in New York, who wouldn't even march in the Israel Day parade, and then he's endorsing a very far left candidate, a Democratic socialist,
and a radical Islamist.
Right, radical Islamist.
Because remember what the DSA stands for: the abolition of the state of Israel and the total extermination of the Jewish people. So other than that, she's just swell.
Right, it's amazing.
And that's how a mayor was supposed to represent all of us.
This reminds me of Churchill, Winston Churchill, and the Gathering Storm. In the 1920s, he started warning people there's a gathering storm. And he was talking about in Germany what was happening. And they watched what happened until Hitler came into power. We're watching this again. I don't know where this is coming from. All this hate, I don't know where it's coming from.
A lot of foreign money, Rudy, a lot of foreign influence, whether it's the Iranians, the Chinese, the Russians, other nation states that feed this hatred. They're trying to divide and conquer, and that's what they're doing.
Let me go to Ari. Ari, your final thoughts, because this is really concerning.
The Democrats need to look inward. They are going through such a stretch of who the party is that the only rational person left in it is John Fetterman. And what Fetterman says now is what most Democrats used to say 10, 15, 20 years ago regularly. Now the fight inside the Democrat Party is between the progressives and the socialists. Even the liberals look good now. It's the progressives and the socialists have most of the energy inside the Democratic Party, as we've seen in recent primaries.
Really scary stuff. Ari, thank you. I'm so glad that you're with us. We love you. Nobody better than you on this. Thank you
very much.
Always great to be with you guys. Thank you.
Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.